Hello friends, welcome to Oliveboard tutorial. In this video we shall see that how to solve floor based puzzle. So first let me tell you some important information regarding this topic and how is it actually important for your examinations. So students, as you all must know that this is a very important topic for banking exams like SBI, IBPS, IPBB, RBI, RRB, etc. Such exams ask you this type of question in prelims as well as in mains level. So just before few days SBI PO has conducted its prelims exam and we have seen that there was a question from floor based puzzle in each and every shift. So basically the paper has been conducted in 16 shifts and in all the shifts we have seen a set of questions, that is a set of 5 questions from floor based puzzle, which itself shows that this topic is very important at prelims level. Now talking about mains, you can definitely expect a set of questions from this topic. Actually what happens that from the same topic, the people who actually set the paper give tough questions at mains level and a kind of simple question in prelims level. Though the level of question which we have seen in recent SBI PO prelims was not that easy, the question was time taking. Now talking about the time, so generally these type of questions take 4 to 5 minutes to solve them, and while you're marking the question, 1 minute is more than sufficient. However, we would suggest you to finish the miscellaneous topics first. Miscellaneous topics like blood relations or directions or syllogism. So these are the miscellaneous topics, or you can say alphanumeric series. So attempt these questions first and then go for puzzle, because puzzle questions are generally time taking, and if you are taking more than required time then definitely you'll mess up your whole paper. Now talking about the marking scheme, I think that you all must know that it is +1 for correct answer and -1/4 for wrong answers. However, in SBI PO mains, the question can be of 1.5 mark or 2 marks even. In SBI PO mains, you have 45 questions that you have to solve in 60 minutes, and these questions are of 60 marks. So you can see that 45 questions actually carry 60 marks. So there are some questions which are of 1 mark or 1.33 mark or 1.5 mark for that matter. Now before solving the question, I would like to discuss some important tips with you which would definitely help you in solving puzzle questions. Okay, so students, as you can see, I have jotted down some important tips for you. So let me read the tips one by one and explain it to you. Read the information in the question. Okay, this is the most obvious and important thing. What happened guys is when you are given any certain question on sitting arrangement or on puzzle, so what happens that these questions are very large. They contain a lot of data in it. So you have to be very careful while you are reading the data. At the same time, you have to be very quick. Ultimately, you should not give more than 5 to 6 minutes in such the question, and within the 5-6 minutes you have to read the question, you have to understand it, you have to take the clues and you have to solve it, and after solving it you have to mark it. So many processes are going on simultaneously in the same question, so you have to be quick as well as careful. The second tip is write the clues provided. I think that you all must know that there are certain clues hidden in the puzzle. There are certain clues which are direct, then there are clues which are indirect. So you have to be equally conscious about both the clues. So you have to note the clues in your rough sheet. Now the next step is always start the question with a definite statement. By definite statement, I mean that there is such a statement in the puzzle. It may be in the starting, it may be in the last, or it may be in the middle, with which you can start your question. क्योंकि ऐसा होता है जब भी आप कोई पजल करते हो, आप हमेशा ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है कि उसकी फर्स्ट लाइन से ही आप उसको सॉल्व करना शुरू कर दो. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि जो फर्स्ट लाइन है वो बहुत ही एम्बिगुअस या एक नेगेटिव स्टेटमेंट हो. सो ऑब्वियसली अगर आप एक एम्बिगुअस स्टेटमेंट से अपना क्वेश्चन शुरू करोगे देन डेफिनेटली यू विल एंड इन नोवेयर. सो always start your question with a definite or a positive, or you can say an assertive statement. Now the next step is make grids, write floor numbers. Okay, so what does that mean? As soon as you understand that what is the question about, if the question is about circular arrangement, then quickly make a circle. If the question is about linear arrangement, then quickly make lines like these. If the question is about direction, then make sure to make a direction chart like these. So although these are very small points, but ultimately these things actually save your time. And in these type of examinations where you're just having 1 hour and you have to solve 100 questions, Each and every second counts. The next point is start with positive statements and then go for the negative ones. So this is one such a statement that will help you not only in floor puzzle but in all kind of puzzles and sitting arrangement. Make sure to start with definite, as I have already said. So start with positive statements. It will actually help you in getting a right direction to the question. The next is check whether same word is repeated more than once. So this is very important tip. What happens that there is a certain question, we'll also see that in the example which I'll solve for you, कि अगर एक word है जो कि more than once repeat हुआ है, so उस वर्ड में एक्चुअली हिंट छुपा हुआ होता है आपके क्वेश्चन को एक करेक्ट डायरेक्शन देने का, उसको करेक्ट मेथड से सॉल्व करने का. सो मेक श्योर टू पॉइंट आउट दी सेम वर्ड्स. नाउ द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज टेक 2 पॉसिबल केसेस एंड नॉट मोर देन 3. एक्चुअली व्हाट हैपन्स दैट इस तरीके के क्वेश्चन में वेदर इट इज़ अ पजल और अ सिटिंग अरेंजमेंट, इसमें आपको इस तरीके की कंडीशंस दी होती हैं कि ऐसा पॉसिबल हो सकता है कि आपके पास मोर देन 1 पॉसिबल केस बन जाए. सो मेक श्योर टू टेक 2 पॉसिबल केसेस फ्रॉम द बिगनिंग ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. डू नॉट गो फॉर इट लेटर ऑन, अदरवाइज यू विल एंड अप वेस्टिंग अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. Okay, so these are all the important tips and now I will apply the tips in the question itself. So yeah, let's start solving the question. Okay, so students, this is the question that I am going to discuss with you. So without further ado, let's start reading the question. 7 persons, Tina, Vinny, Yasir, Rishi, Sanya, Pankaj and Urmila live on the separate floors of a 7-floor building. Ground floor is numbered as 1, first floor as 2 and so on. Each of them goes to a city with Paris, Istanbul, Shanghai, Durban, London, Madrid and Dubai. Not in this same order. Okay, so basically we have 7 persons. They live on 7 different floors and they go to 7 different places. So the question actually contains 3 variables. Okay, so now I am reading the conditions which have been given to me for solving the question. Only 3 people live above the floor on which Sanya lives. ओके, सो इसमें हमसे ये कहा गया है कि सान्या जिस फ्लोर पे रहती है उसके ऊपर सिर्फ 3 लोग रहते हैं. व्हाट डज दिस सजेस्ट? अगर सान्या 4th फ्लोर पे रहेगी तो उसके ऊपर सिर्फ 3 लोग रहेंगे ऑन फ्लोर 5th, 6th एंड 7th. सो आई एम मेकिंग माई सान्या सिट हेयर. So guys, as I have told you that you have to begin your question with a definite or a positive statement. So this is actually the positive statement with which I can begin my question. So we were lucky enough to get the first statement as the beginning statement. Now the second statement says that only one person lives between Sanya and the one who goes to Paris. Okay, so हमसे ये कहा गया है कि जो सान्या है उसके और जो इंसान पेरिस जाता है उसके बीच में सिर्फ एक इंसान बैठता है. लेकिन हमसे ये नहीं कहा गया है कि जो पेरिस जाता है वो सान्या के ऊपर रहता है या नीचे रहता है. सो व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू इज आई एम गोइंग टू टेक 2 कंडीशन साइमल्टेनियसली. और एक कंडीशन में मैं वो पर्सन जो पेरिस जा रहा है उसको सान्या के ऊपर बिठाऊंगी और दूसरी कंडीशन में आई विल मेक हिम सिट बिलो सान्या. सो दीज आर द 2 कंडीशंस which we require. Now the next statement says that Winnie lives just below the person who goes to Madrid. So students, you can see that this is an ambiguous statement. We do not know that where does Winnie actually live. Also we do not know that where does the person who live in Madrid lives. So basically I am just writing it. Now the next statement says that only 3 people live between the one who goes to Paris and London. Okay, so students, since we already know that where does the person who live in Paris live, so we can also make the person who live in London sit down somewhere here. So basically if the person of Paris lives here, so 1 floor, 2 floor, 3 floor. So in this arrangement the person who lives on floor 2 will live in London. Same process I shall follow in this case as well. So if this person goes to Paris, so 1 floor, 2 floor, 3 floor. So basically on floor 6 the person who goes to London will sit. Now the next statement says the person who goes to Madrid lives on even numbered floor. So if you remember, we have already seen the word Madrid here. So basically अगर ये word repeat हो रहा है then there is some clue behind it. So you can see that we just have 3 even number floor in this statement. the floor 2 is filled in both the conditions. Similarly, floor 6 is filled in both the conditions, and the only floor which is vacant is floor 4. So basically the person who goes to Madrid will sit on floor 4 in both the arrangements. Now the next statement says Urmila lives just above Rishi. Okay, so since we do not know, so this is again an ambiguous statement. We do not know the actual positions of Urmila and Rishi. So we will use this statement later on. I am just writing it down here. The next statement says Urmila does not go to London. So this statement actually shows कि इस statement में उर्मिला यहाँ नहीं बैठेगी. Similarly, इस statement में उर्मिला will not sit here. Now the next statement says only two persons live between Pankaj and one who goes to Durban. Pankaj lives above this person. Pankaj lives 2 floors above the person who goes to Durban. Now let's read the another statements. Yasser does not go to Istanbul. Again, this is a negative statement, so I am not making it use here right now. The next statement says Tina does not live just below or above Sanya. So basically अगर यहाँ पे सान्या बैठी है in both the statements, so Tina ना तो यहाँ पर बैठेगी और ना ही यहाँ बैठेगी. So again this is a negative statement which I'll use afterwards. The one who goes to Shanghai does not live just above or below Pankaj. So it says जो पर्सन शंघाई में रहता है तो वो ना ही पंकज के जस्ट अबव बैठता है और ना ही पंकज के जस्ट below बैठता है. So all these statements are negative statements and I am not using them as of now, and I am going to solve my question with these statements. So guys, अब हम hit and trial method का use करेंगे since we do not actually know the positions of all these people. So what I am doing here right now is I am trying to put Pankaj here. So let's imagine that अगर पंकज यहाँ पे बैठेगा then 2 floors must be vacant and here the person who will go to Durban will sit. So basically यहाँ पे already जो Madrid जाता है वो बैठा हुआ है. So this is actually a wrong case. Now I will imagine that Pankaj will sit here. So let's see that if Pankaj sit here, then 2 floors will be vacant and here the person who would go to Durban will sit. So this is looking like a probable case. Similarly, I am checking for floor 5. If Pankaj sits here, then 2 floors will be vacant and the person who will go to Durban will sit here. So this is again a wrong case because already the person who is going to Paris is sitting here. Similarly, Pankaj cannot sit here. So I can see that in this whole case, there is only one possible placement for Pankaj and the person who goes to Durban. I think this is clear for you and I am using the same process this side as well. So Pankaj cannot sit here because down 2 places we can see the person who goes to Madrid is already sitting. Pankaj can sit here so that after 2 floors the person who will go to Durban can sit. Similarly, Pankaj cannot sit on floor 5 because this floor is filled and Pankaj cannot sit here because Sania is already living here. And down the line, if we make a Pankaj sit on floor 3 or on floor 2, then there will be no place for the person who goes to Durban. So the only possible floor in this case for Pankaj is this 6th floor. And the person who will go to Durban will sit on this floor. Urmila sits just above Rishi. So students, आप ये देख सकते हो कि हमें ये दिया हुआ है कि जो उर्मिला है वो लंदन नहीं जाती है. That means Urmila cannot sit here. So the only position for Urmila and Rishi will be this. Urmila and Rishi. The one who goes to Shanghai does not live just above or below Pankaj. So जो इंसान शंघाई जाता है वो ना ही पंकज के तुरंत ऊपर बैठेगा और ना ही उसके जस्ट नीचे बैठेगा. So in both the statements we can see that the person who will go to Shanghai will sit here on floor 1. We are actually having another condition which says that the person who goes to Madrid lives just above Winnie. So basically if we make our Urmila sit here, so this whole condition is going to be wrong. So I can say that this possible arrangement is wrong. So actually we can see that this was the wrong condition which we have taken into consideration, and now I am eliminating it and I will just work on this condition. So as I have already here that the person who goes to Madrid lives just above Winnie, so I am placing my Winnie here. Now the next statement says that Urmila lives just above Rishi. So you can see that there are only two places for Urmila and Rishi, because they cannot sit here because there is one floor in between them and they are actually sitting beside each other. So Urmila will sit here and Rishi will sit here. Now the next statement says टीना डज नॉट लिव जस्ट अबव और बिलो सान्या. सो जो टीना है वो सान्या के ना ही एकदम ऊपर बैठेगी और ना ही एकदम नीचे बैठेगी. सो टीना कैन नॉट सिट हेयर, सो टीना विल सिट हेयर. So there is only one person left with us and that is Yasir. So I'll put Yasir here. Now we have another condition which says that Yasir does not go to Istanbul. So अगर Yasir Istanbul नहीं जाएगा then Tina will go to Istanbul. And then we are just left with one place and that place is Dubai. So Yasir will go to Dubai. So this is actually the correct arrangement of all the persons. Okay, so students, now I am quickly revising the tips with you with reference to the example which you have already solved. सबसे पहले इस क्वेश्चन में आपने देखा ही होगा हमने क्या किया था. वी हैव रेड द इन्फॉर्मेशन. उसके बाद हमारे पास जितने भी क्लूज थे, चाहे वो डायरेक्ट हो या इनडायरेक्ट हो, उनको हमने हमारे क्वेश्चन के नीचे लिख लिया था. देन वी स्टार्टेड द क्वेश्चन विद अ डेफिनेट स्टेटमेंट. हमारा जो पहला ही स्टेटमेंट था वो एक डेफिनेट स्टेटमेंट था और उससे हमने क्वेश्चन शुरू किया था. उसके बाद मैंने आपको नेक्स्ट टिप दी थी, मेक ग्रिड्स, राइट फ्लोर नंबर्स. सो आपने देखा होगा जैसे ही मैंने क्वेश्चन शुरू किया था उसके पहले ही आई हैव ऑलरेडी रिटन all the floor numbers in my sheet. The next tip which I have given to you guys is start with positive statements and then go for negative ones. So ये हमने क्वेश्चन में सॉल्व करते समय भी देखा था that I started with positive statements, then I went into ambiguous one and then I go for the negative ones. Make sure कि negative statements को आप सबसे लास्ट में यूज़ कर रहे हो, अदरवाइज आपका क्वेश्चन डेफिनेटली गलत होगा. अगर गलत नहीं होगा देन आपको उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम लगेगा. So this is a must thing that you always have to start your question with positive statement. The next tip which I have given to you is check whether same word is repeated more than once. So अभी हमने जो क्वेश्चन किया था उसमें हमने देखा कि जो मेड्रिट वर्ड था वो 2 बार यूज़ हुआ था, जिससे कि हमें बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट क्लू मिल गया था. Next tip I have given to you guys is take 2 cases and not more than 3. So in the example which I have solved for you guys, you have already seen that I have taken 2 cases. हमेशा कोशिश करो कि कम से कम केसेस बनाओ, जिससे कि आपके पास पॉसिबिलिटीज़ होंगी वो कम होगी, तो आपको एक फाइनल कंक्लूजन पे पहुंचने में कम टाइम लगेगा. So students, that is it for today. I hope you like this video and you understand the concept behind these kind of questions. So keep practicing hard and we will be back to you with another question. Till that time, stay tuned with us. Bye.